bit like what you were saying, but she wasn't in labour, was she? So I can't read that one. So it's quite funny though. Unfortunately, no name attached to it.
There'll be some choice ones come through.
So we do get one or two good ones. So yeah, I mean, I think to go back to that point about the police working for corporations.
Yeah, the fiction does. Yeah.
Do they understand that they're working for corporations?
I feel there's some that do, because of the wording you can use.
Well, the higher levels? Or...
Oh, yeah, definitely. The inspectors and the chief inspectors are what I call customer services. They come out, if a police officer's done something wrong and he's going to be, and you put a complaint in, one, especially one's called dereliction of duty, which is in common law.
Yes. He'll
come out and try to flannel you. He'll say, oh, it's no good prosecuting you, you loads of paperwork, and all they're going to get is a tap on the wrist. It's customer services.
Well, we're going to go for another break now. Once again, if you'd like to text in your questions or comments for John, text the word EDGE to 87778, and we'll see you very soon. Welcome back to On the Edge with me, Theo Chalmers, and my special guest tonight, John James Harris, the free man. Well, John, this has been really interesting so far, and I'm going to read you a couple of texts before we start off again. Absolutely brilliant, bravo. Isn't it a shame this information doesn't get fed into the mainstream? John should go on Question Time. Ian from North Wales. I don't know if Jeremy Paxman would be as nice as I am, but... Anyway, here's another one. John, I'm a copper. You're spot on with your comments about police work. Good work. And here's another one. Where can I find out more info from the guy on the sofa? Things need to change. Well, the answer is go to www.tpuc, which stands for the People's United Collective.org. So www.tpuc.org. OK, keep the text coming in. Oh, there's another one. Why don't I read this one before we get onto the subject? Then they have books that can be audited, or am I just being duh? And by the way, I'm not being anti what you're saying. In fact, thank God for people like you. And then it gets cut off, I'm afraid, because the long ones do. So I think what they're asking in that question is, these corporations, if they are corporations like the hospital and the police and the courts and all that, they're asking is, do they have books that can be audited?
Well, yeah, if they're a corporation in their own right, it's... You touch on subject, you know, and when you touch on these things, you look at the, you start to dig deep into money and what money really is, and the whole concept.
We're so going to get onto money in a second, but let's get into it gently.
But he explains it all because of the book entries. Because if they're creating a debt in the first place and giving it to you, you pay it, then that zeroes that debt. That's basic bookkeeping. Anybody knows that. You don't have to be an accountant. You know, you create it. Someone pays it, it zeroes the account. But you pay in two different ways. There's different ways of paying, and there's something that came to light was what was called accepted for value, which a lot of people have dissed and have said, oh, there's all this information in America, it don't work, blah, blah, blah. We're living proof it does work, because we do it. Now, accepted for value, you only do really on, you know, like sort of... companies and corporations...
Aren't you getting a bit ahead of yourself? Shouldn't you be explaining what money is before you get to it?
No, it leads to it. I'll explain what it is.
Excuse me then.
See, when you accept... Right, I get a bill from the tax office for 33 grand telling me that I've got to pay them £33,000.
This has actually happened.
I can show you it. That's in my briefcase.
I don't doubt you for a second, John.
I'll show you.
I'm surprised you walk around with it, though, but, you know...
No, I brought it
just in case.
There's something, when people... You need to explain things on there.
OK.
Now, they're writing to the capital version, they're writing to the fiction, so they're not writing to me as a human being.
They're writing to you in capital letters?
Yeah, so they're
John James Harris, all caps.
They're presuming I'm a fiction, OK? So this presumption, it's implied presumption that I'm going to act on behalf of the fiction in their jurisdiction. Right, OK? I'm saying I'm a human being, and I'm not going to act. I'm not going to act on you. So I get this bill comes through, and they say to me, you owe us £33,000 and some pence and other pounds, whatever it is. Right. It's in a box.
I think, yeah, the £33,000 would probably do it for me, wouldn't it?
Right.
Wouldn't worry about the pennies.
No. But well, it's all imaginary anyway. So it might as well be 3 pence because they're not getting a penny. The fact of it is, the £33,000 is been generated for nothing. So when it comes to me, I've accepted it has no value whatsoever and sent it back to them. Exactly the same figure. So I write it in the box, 33 whatever is, blah, blah, blah. I send it back to them, they can zero out their books.
Well, OK, if only it was so simple, John.
But it is.
Well, you're basically saying you're accepting it for value.
Right. OK. A nice, shiny piece of paper.
Note.
No, piece of paper.
Well, I'm sorry, but that is a £20 note.
Well, that's what
Unless you make it yourself.
Now, you can take this to a shop and you can go and buy...
That's very kind of you, I'll have it now.
You want it? You can take this to a shop, you can buy goods and services for it, so you actually believe it's real.
Yes. I know it does buy me goods and services, or
And
one very similar
you believe it's real. So, well, what happens is, you'll go... That will get put in that shop, and then that shop will pass it to somewhere else, or a bank, and they'll reissue it.
Put it in the bank.
Blah, 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 blah. OK. Well, one of the two things there's 3 things on here that are quite interesting. One is it has a mascot on it to make it look official.
A mascot?
Constitutional sovereign.
Well, like football clubs?
Yeah, basically. I'll explain that.
OK.
And it says it's from the Bank of England, which is a private, registered corporation, that no one knows where the profits go. No one knows who the managing the directors of, but might want to ask the boss of Sky a little bit about the Bank of England. But it also says very clearly on it, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £20. OK? So if I take this to the Bank of England and say, right, you've promised me to pay me something here. Can I have what you've promised? They'll give me another piece of paper, which is completely worthless.
You know, one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
But they'll take that one, presumably.
Yeah, but what we used to say on it, I promised to pay the bearer on demand the sum of gold, or sterling, silver.
Silver.
Pound sterling, right? £20 sterling, as you would call it. But because our money is fiat currency, it's not backed by anything. There is nothing to back this at all. So in reality, if there's nothing to back this of any value, this is an IOU. It's a promise to pay. That's why it says, I promise. So what happens is, you just say, I'm promising to pay you at some time.
So this is because it's fiat currency.
Yeah, because we're in bankruptcy.
And fiat, if my Latin is still doing any good in there, is, I think the Bible starts with fiat lux, which means let there be light.
I don't know, but I'll take your word on it.
Which is Latin.
Yeah,
and so therefore the fiat part of it must be let there be.
Yeah. All it basically
so let there be money.
All it basically
But there isn't any, is that what you're saying? There is no money.
Basically what the money is, the money in effect is a debt. We're in bankruptcy, so we're in receivership, but we're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which still allows us to trade. What we're constantly trying to do is pay back this bankruptcy that can never be done. Because the bankers, the private sector have put so much... The principal and the interest has got to such to a rate now that the income tax that you pay, the rates that you pay, the council tax you pay, cannot cover this anymore. So now they have to bring in statutes to sell to the bankers and enforce upon the people...
More taxes, hidden taxes, all these hidden taxes.
Stealth taxes, but it's not tax. It's basically fraud.
You're saying the debt can never be serviced.
It can't
There's nothing to back the currency. The currency has nothing behind it. Because Gordon Brown, for instance, sold all our gold at the bottom of the market, didn't he?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, gold's... If you want to go... It depends how you want to go with this. You can go a number of different ways. I mean, if you look at what gold is just a prissy piece of metal. That's all it is. What gives it value?
Well, I suppose it's immutable, isn't it? Unlike some metals that rust or oxidise or whatever, gold is immutable. You can leave it in the ground for 10,000 years and you can pull it out and it's shiny and lovely.
So why does that give it any value?
I don't know, it's quite...
Exactly. It's got no value whatsoever. It's only got the value that you attribute to it. Okay. So it's the if you like, the consumer who attributes the value to something. If you've got a bar of gold and you tell me it's worth £600 and I say it's worth £1, right? The only difference is that we disagree on what it's actually worth, because value is derived by the person.
Well, the word pound comes from the weight of a precious metal, doesn't it?
Which it would have been.